If you grew up playing platformers on PC instead of consoles, there's a good chance you've played Captain Claw, or just Claw in some versions. It's not a game that changed everything, but the smooth animation and those over-the-top anthropomorphic dog enemies really stuck with you. It's also a pretty tough game, but maybe that was part of the charm. I'm playing the latest patched version here, which is supposed to be a bit easier. From what I've read on the fan site, they toned down the difficulty after parents complained it was too hard for kids. But even with the patch, you'll still be falling into pits left and right. You might be surprised to learn that the game still has a dedicated fan base that releases patches for modern operating systems and continues to create new levels. But what about a sequel? That's where our story begins. Initially, Monolith created a 3D prototype of Claw, but that engine was eventually used for the excellent Shogo Armor Division and Blood 2. From there, things got pretty interesting. It seems like Monolith didn't fully control the rights, so things got a bit messy over time, and the IP likely changed hands through different deals, eventually ending up with Techland. At first, Techland planned a direct sequel called Captain Claw 2, and later considered renaming it to Jack the Pirate Cat. Maybe riding the popularity of Jack Sparrow? In the end, they decided to disconnect it from the original game and call it Nikita, the Mystery of the Hidden Treasure. While it technically has nothing to do with Captain Claw anymore, you can't ignore the resemblance. Before I get into the gameplay, I have to apologize for the flickering in the footage. I had to record in windowed mode. If you run it in full screen and set compatibility to Windows Vista, it should work perfectly. So this time, you've got 4 villains, a tiger and 3 dogs. Pretty similar to the original lineup, just not quite on the same level animation-wise. My first impression is that Techland actually did a decent job here. I mean, by 2009, 3D platformers were already a thing, but getting a camera to behave properly, especially when you're playing with a keyboard, is still not that easy. But once you get past the camera, the enemies, though, are a lot less impressive. They don't really chase you or react in any meaningful way. It honestly feels like whoever worked on the AI never even looked at how Pac-Man works. If you still struggle with the enemies for some reason, you can always lock onto them with bombs. As I kept playing, I realized even the animator might have cut a few corners here. The same mediocrity goes for the level design. The levels themselves are very linear, and there isn't much to collect besides coins. On the other hand, maybe it's nice not having to hunt for 242 stars like in other games. Also, the game does occasionally try to break the routine with segments where you grind rails, similar to Sonic or Ratchet & Clank. But even with these little breaks from the routine, there's nothing here that really saves the game from feeling average at best. Funny enough, the ones who actually enjoy it seem to be speedrunners, coming up with creative ways to mess with the physics.
One of them was Kung Cobra,
Yeah.
and he found a very interesting thing that when you spam print screen in this game, it lags the game so much that it allows you to easier jump up really precise double jumps.
In conclusion, there's probably a good reason Techland jumped straight to Dead Island in their studio biography. It feels like they worked on Nikita mostly during coffee breaks. Then again, it could have been much, much worse. Hope you enjoyed this, and if you want to see more interesting gaming trivia, hit that subscribe button. See you next time.